The most interesting thing about the rise of F1 in the States is the fact that there really hasn't been a successful team or driver in the championship that is linked to the US, while it has risen in popularity. The last time an American driver lined up on the F1 grid occurred when Alexander Rossi did so when he drove for the Manor Marussia F1 team. Before that, there was Scott Speed. Speed graduated from the Red Bull Young Drivers program and went on to start 28 races for Toro Rosso, where he failed to score a single point. Speed may have had the talent to do more in the sport had it not been for his terrible attitude combined with his terrible results. Before Speed, there was Mario Andretti, who became the most successful American Formula 1 driver ever, winning 12 Grand Prix and 1 World Championship. There really hasn't been much hope surrounding an American driver in a very long time, until this year. And his name is Logan Hunter Sargent. Formula 1.
It's the Bahrain Grand Prix, and it's lights out and away we go!
It is a sport where emotions run high.
The championship can only be won by one, and it's going Dutch in 2021!
From the excitement of winning a world championship,
Max Verstappen, you are the world champion!
to the heartbreak of defeat.
No, Mikey, no, Mikey, that was so not right.
Sport is special, and in recent years, I have fallen in love with the sport known as Formula 1, aka F1. And I am not the only person in the United States to do so. The popularity of F1 in the States has exploded, and looks to be continuing in an upward trajectory going into this season. ESPN viewership numbers of the sport are up 28%, with broadcasts across ESPN, ESPN2, and ABC averaging 1.21 million viewers, although the championship fight was wrapped up with weeks left in the season. On top of that, 12 races individually set an all-time American viewership record, including the first edition of the brand new Miami Grand Prix with 2.58 million average viewers. The 18 to 49-year-old demographic is up 29%, while the 12 to 17 is up 49%, along with seeing an increase in the female demographic. This coming season, we will see 3 races in the United States, and for the first time since 2015, the grid will have an American driver in Logan Sargent. The sport is growing, and it's growing fast in the United States, but it begs the question, why now? I want to answer that question, so through this 8-part series, I will be looking into why F1 is finally finding so much success in the United States, and what the future of the sport may look like. You are not going to want to miss this. Can we start off by talking about how American of a name Logan Sargent is? Like the script writes itself. Okay, jokes aside, let's get serious. Logan Sargent was born on December 31st, 2000, and grew up in Florida. He is the son of energy billionaire Harry Sargent III, which helps when it comes to the racing world, which relies heavily on funding. Growing up, his idol was NASCAR driver Jeff Gordon, and he actually grew up watching that more than he did F1 because of how popular it was in the US. He then started following F1, where he became a fan of Felipe Massa while he was still with Ferrari, and ended his career with Williams. Sargent began his motorsports career in karting in 2008. In his first year, he competed in the Rotax Micro Max class in the regional and national championship, finishing 3rd in the Florida Winter Tour and the Rotax Max Challenge USA. With the aspirations of making it to F1 one day, Logan decided to move to Europe at the age of 9, since the most logical way to make it to F1 and earn super license points is through Europeans Pyramid, which culminates in the Formula 3 and Formula 2 series. This meant he could race on the same Pirelli tires, familiarize himself with the same circuits F1 uses, and get accustomed to a similar lifestyle. Logan explained the decision saying, "I purely moved for the opportunity to reach Formula 1. I put in a lot of sacrifice for this. I was 100% committed to Formula 1. I knew if I went the European route, I could always go back to America, but I feel like the other way around is extremely difficult. It was worth the sacrifice to go back to Formula 1. America is always going to be there to go back to." Sargent competed in multiple karting series before he made his single-seater debut in the Formula 4 UAE Championship with Team Motopark. During the 2016-2017 season, Logan scored 15 podiums but failed to win a race and finished second behind teammate Jonathan Aberdeen. In 2017, he joined Carlin to compete in the F4 British Championship, where he won 2 races and finished 3rd in the standings behind teammate Oscar Piastri and Jamie Caroline. In 2018, he competed in the Formula Renault Eurocup with Race GP, winning the season opener at Paul Ricard, and later adding wins at Nuremberg and Barcelona. He finished 4th in the driver's standings and 2nd behind Christian Lundgaard in the Rookie Championship. Logan made his return to Carlin in 2019 in the Formula 3 Championship, where he scored points in 4 different races and finished 19th in the championship. Although these feeder series are supposed to be equal machinery, that is not always the case, so sometimes figuring out how successful a driver is, you need to look at their teammates. Future Formula 2 champion Felipe Drugovich finished 16th in the standings, while Tepi Nattori finished 24th. He also impressed many when he finished 3rd in the Macau Grand Prix, a race that can be a strenuous street circuit that with any false moves can lead to you finding yourself in the wall. At a track where it is extremely difficult to pass, Logan brought himself up to the podium from 10th place on the starting grid. In 2020, Logan found himself partnering with Frederic Vesti and Oscar Piastri for Prema Racing, a team that spits out F1 driver after F1 driver. Logan found himself in a title fight with Piastri, and after hitting a few snags towards the end of the season, he found himself finishing 3rd behind Theo Pourchaire by 1 point and 4 points to Piastri. Many thought Sargent may graduate to Formula 2 after such an amazing season, but due to financial reasons, he was unable to. Instead, he found himself driving for a lackluster Charouz Racing with his back against the wall. This was going to be his last chance to prove himself and earn his backing to make it to F2. He led Charouz to their first victory in Formula 3 and finished the season impressively in 7th place. Sargent would earn an F2 seat with Carlin after signing with the Williams Drivers Academy. Many expected this to be a 2-season affair for the young American driver, and after that, maybe he'd earn an F1 seat. Things all changed when Sargent won the British Grand Prix at Silverstone on July 3rd, the day before the United States Independence Day. You have to admit that's pretty poetic. All of a sudden, Williams started to believe they had a young star on their hands, and with a floundering Nicholas Latifi, talks began to heat up for Sargent to get the spot. After a second win, and things falling through with Williams getting Oscar Piastri on a loan, those talks really heated up, and Sargent was basically told if he finishes in the top 6 of the F2 Championship, that the seat was his. The reason he needed to finish 6th or higher was to earn enough super license points to qualify for F1. This was all confirmed when Formula 1 came to Austin and Sargent was taking part in the practice sessions. Sargent drove the Williams again at the Mexico City Grand Prix and Sao Paulo Grand Prix and Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Sargent did what he needed to do to earn enough super license points, clinching it during the final F2 race at Abu Dhabi in the season finale. He finished 4th in the F2 Championship and was the highest rated rookie. Following the end of the 2022 season, Sargent participated in postseason testing with the Williams FW44 in Abu Dhabi. He chose to use the number 2 for his racing number as well. According to Williams, Sargent was not given the seat due to being an American, he earned it on merit. His goals during testing is to just get comfortable with the car and learn its limits, and he drove exceptionally well during said events. There seems to already be a lot of pressure on Sargent before he ever starts an F1 race weekend, but he is not letting that get to him. Sargent told ESPN, "I get asked that question a lot. From my side, I have so much self-expectation and I put a lot of pressure on myself to perform anyways that anything else from the outside doesn't really equal that. I don't think it's any extra pressure. I see all the media, but I just have to block it out. I have a job to do. First, FP1 in Austin, and then finishing the Formula 2 season strong. I can't really focus on anything beyond that right now. I obviously know the history of an American not being in there for a while, but I can't dwell on that too much. I can't really afford to. I feel like at the end of the day, I've put in so much hard work, as much work as anybody else to reach this point. And I just have to look at it to prepare the best I possibly can to be the best driver I could possibly be next year. And hopefully I could represent well and make them proud. But I don't think it's any extra pressure, to be honest. I feel like I have high expectations for myself as it is." Sargent may not be the only American driver on the grid for long, with IndyCar's Colton Herta being mentioned the most as the next American driver in Formula 1. The 22-year-old, who became the youngest IndyCar Series winner in 2019, has been rumored for an F1 seat in the past and has tested with McLaren, but he still needs to earn more super license points. While Sargent will be driving for a team that is towards the bottom of the grid, it will still be fun to see an American in this position. I was all ready for the start of the season, but knowing that Sargent will be on the grid this year only makes me more excited. Who knows what his career will entail? All I know is I will be rooting for him, and I hope he finds success at the F1 level. Next time, I will be looking at the evolution of the races in the United States, and you won't want to miss it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos right here, and make sure to subscribe for more quality content. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.